let's talk about how you can build trust without a face-to-face meeting. So there's no doubt about it, when you are having a face-to-face meeting in person is so much more powerful than having an online meeting. We are a social species and we have definitely evolved to be in front of one another, understanding what's going on all the time rather than being separated by a screen. So when you are having a face-to-face meeting and you're sitting in someone's office and you're having a chat with them, there are going to be changes in body language that you're going to pick up, which mean that you might adapt your sales process. There will be things that will be happening in your brain, so you'll have mirror neurons firing so that you can understand how the other person is feeling at that point in time. It's a lot of things that we have evolved to do in person, and suddenly changing everything online is a little bit scary because now your whole sales process has collapsed. It doesn't have to be the case. You can get better quality leads and you can have higher conversion rates if you do it properly. If you convert your offline sales process to an online sales process, it doesn't have to be the end of the world as you know it when it comes to your sales process. So the way that this works is that you utilize a strategy that combines meetings, so things like Zoom and Skype, etc., and really great value add and inspiring content that goes alongside that process. It's basically just really great chats and then really well executed nurture that goes alongside it. And everything that is essential to your offline strategy is essential to your online strategy, but it just becomes more important here. So here's how it works. The first thing you've got to do is you've got to sit down and you've got to plan out all of the meetings that you usually have. If you're having loads of face-to-face meetings and you're sitting down in offices, that's fine. You just need to be doing that online now. Use a program like Zoom, use a program like Skype, whatever you're utilizing, make sure that you can still have that facial contact, albeit with a screen in place. But then it's the stuff that's around that becomes really, really powerful, because you need to create educational content, you need to create value add content, and you need to create authority and positioning content to go around that sales process. And you need to automate it. And that's where people get a little bit freaked out, but don't worry. You can make a process like this flexible enough to be triggered by yourself. So when you have specific conversations, you know that someone needs a specific piece of content and it's just a predetermined content that you then send off, which makes you look like a hero and it's fantastic. Or if you have a particularly clever system, you can automate all of it so that when you move someone from one part in the sales process, a series of content gets triggered. And when you move them out of that process into another part of the sales process, that content stops. There are systems out there that will enable you to do that. But the basis in all of this is by creating a really strong foundation of supplementary nurture. And if you're clever with it, you can add segmentation triggers in it and informational triggers into it so that it informs your next conversations, so that you're having a more adaptive sales process and you're having a sales process that is utilizing data on people's content consumption. And that's what gets you higher conversion rates, when you are an adaptive salesperson that utilizes the data to create a really great nurture-driven sales process. So here's what you need to do. You need to sit down and you need to plan out your process. So the first thing you can plan out is, what are all the calls and stuff that you already have? What are all the things the meetings that you normally do in your offline process? How are you going to move those online? And once you've got those all planned out, sit down and think to yourself, what are the questions that I normally get asked? What are the concerns? What are the objections? What are the reservations that people normally have? That's what you need to be creating content for. And you need to put that in the parts of the sales process that they're going to have the biggest impact. And good sales processes will have all of this information, and this may be stuff that you normally do during a face-to-face conversation, but if you can follow it up and drive it home with a really good blog post, why wouldn't you? Because that would increase your chances of converting that sale. If you're nurturing, you're adding value, and you're educating your prospect throughout that sales process. And then figure out, how can you do that in a way that is automated, that is consistent, and that gets triggered all at the right points in time and gives you the right information that you need for those parts of the sales process. So I know this all sounds quite overwhelming. Certainly if you're going from offline to online, it can be a little bit scary, but it's okay. I've written a blog post that goes into a little bit more depth as to how this process works and some of the tools that we utilize within this process. So you can go check that out and let me know what you think. But right now, I'm doing this video series to inspire people into action in this time period where we're kind of all sitting and not really knowing what to do, or we're floundering with the amount of stuff that we need to do. So I'd love to inspire people with action. So if you could share some stuff in the comments about what's happening with your sales processes and what are you doing differently? How are you inspiring action? That would be fantastic. So pop those in the comments, and I cannot wait to have chats in the comments about different sales processes. And also to support all of you going through this craziness, we do have our marketing therapy sessions. They're free, they're no obligation, they're impartial. It's just us sitting down and having a chat with you about how you can be doing your marketing better during this time period to better serve your audience. We've also put together loads of downloads. There's different resources on a resource page. So there's videos on there, there's webinars on there, there are various different fact sheets and various different little bits of things that we feel will really help you during this time period, and we're only going to keep adding to that. So that's linked in the comments below. So for now, stay safe, stay engaged, and have fun planning this crazy sales process online. It'll be the best thing that you do for your business right now.